What's going on, Ruben? What's happening?
Technical difficulty.
Oh, yes. Finally. It's recording.
All right.
All right, enough chit-chat. Well, let's start chit-chatting. Thank you guys for jumping on, man. This is Monday Madness. This is... You're right, Chris. This is Quarantine FC. This is the Stuttering community working from home. Got Christopher Jackson, aka CJ, Sandra Sandu, Ayo Adesanya. So what we're doing now is just having a chat because we are mates. We were meant to be starting a podcast in March, end of March, April, and didn't really work out because of this thing out there. Plan was to get a studio and film it, get cool haircuts and stuff, and go shopping for clothes. But everyone's stuck at home now, so this is what we have resorted to. Start with Chris. Actually, how's the cough?
The cough's not great at the moment. Comes and goes. But yeah, I'm all right. I'm surviving.
He's dying.
I'm not dying.
All right.
I'll be fine.
So I've been thinking about how to best structure this because there's four of us on here. The last thing I want is just like, everyone talking on top of each other, and then some big silences because people don't know when to talk. What I want to do is maybe ask a few questions. If you can answer it, just say a few things and then pass it on to someone else. One of the things I spoke about with Chris the other day was with the coronavirus and stuff. Coronavirus, it's forced us to actually, I guess, speak to less people and interact with less people. From, I guess, personal perspective, and from the perspective of someone who stutters, how would you think that has impacted A, yourself, and then B, the stuttering community, or generally people in general? So maybe start with Ayo, seeing as you spend quite a lot of time interacting with, I guess, different groups of people throughout your day. That's all changed now, probably.
Yeah, so right now I'm working from home, but I am actually doing more of the same, just talking to different people around the world about stuttering, working with my social media clients as well. And it's pretty much the same for me. Not much has really changed, apart from doing stuff at home.
I was going to ask, how often do you have to meet your clients in person?
Meet in person, maybe once a month, but normally I have Skype calls with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's weekly.
All right, good. And do you think that this has presented challenges, or have there been even more opportunities?
I think for the future, this is great. Going to allow people to work from home and feel fine with working at home, not feel like they have to go to the office or to meet with someone face to face. I think it's really good, as it will help people like me cut costs when we work with our clients and business. That's cool. I don't really mind it. But I think what's important is we still need to maintain our human connection with people. So we still need to meet people once this is over and build real relationships, or else it's going to become way too virtual, and that's bad.
All right. I'm gonna ask you now to pass that question on to someone else.
Sanjog.
Yeah, so I think that, like, because I'm at home I'm hardly speaking to anyone else. I can actually feel my comfort zone getting smaller. And I experienced this actually yesterday at the garden center. I went up to the checkout, right? And usually I wouldn't have any issue, speaking to anyone like that. But I could feel all this anxiety coming up. I was like, well, what the fuck's going on here? But it was interesting. And I definitely stuttered more than I otherwise would have, I think.
So you think that's a result of lack of practice or regular communication with people, because you've had gaps of interacting with people and then you've been thrown into a situation?
Yeah, I think for us especially, having all those human connections and actually speaking to people on a regular basis helps,
Definitely.
Like, it just helps having almost intimate connection. You're almost transferring energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, right? Because as people, we are energy. So when you are speaking to someone, there will be an exchange there, and you can discuss, and you can tell sometimes when you speak to someone and the vibe is good, is because your the wavelengths of the two people talking are in the same region. That's how you get people kind of interacting better with other people than some other people. So is that what is that what you're trying to get at with that?
Yeah.
Right? If you lose that connection, then you lose something else, you mean?
Yeah, and also if you're not sharing the energy, you end up actually keeping some of your emotions in you. Mm-hmm. Instead of actually just being able to express them higher communication.
And with that, do you mean both positive emotions and negative emotions as well? So they're both important, as in it's important to be releasing them both.
Yeah. Well, how do you mean by positive and negative? Right.
By positive, I guess if you had some kind of some kind of thing that makes you happy. Happy people have to share that emotion. Like a basic example could be if you've seen like a meme or clip and it's quite funny. I think AO has just seen one right now, and and you see it on your phone, you think it's funny. The first thing you do is you share that with your kind of people around you, or like a WhatsApp group that you're part of, and then if they find it funny as well, then that kind of adds to the positive feeling that you have. Then for something that would be negative, I would see that as something that has made you feel down, and it's always kind of important to be able to share that with someone just to work through it, because things always seem worse in your head when you say it to yourself.
Yeah. Well, if you start labeling them as negative, and you automatically start like pushing them away, you know, and as soon as you start pushing shit down, and you start having issues, you know, like some people have, like, I don't know, eczema or whatever, and I personally think that the repression of negative emotions is a huge part in causing stuttering.
I mean, Chris, you've been awfully quiet there, man. What's going on? Are you busy?
No, I'm here. No, I'm here. I just turned the microphone on to mute because I didn't want to be coughing when everyone else is talking. That's all, really.
No worries, man. Just checking, as you are a recovering patient, right? Now, have you got any kind of thoughts or anything to add on what Sandro's been saying? So just to summarize, please correct me if I'm chatting shit, by the way. He's effectively saying that something that we said before, because you are inside the house, speaking to less people, and in some cases, if someone is living alone, then they won't be speaking to anyone in person, because at the moment, every time I go to Sainsbury's, no one wants to talk to me, or just people in general. Then you don't have that opportunity to actually speak to people and exchange energy, for example. Do you have anything to add? Do you agree, disagree?
I agree, because when you can't have that regular social interaction, that's actually preventing you from being able to have the positive speaking experiences that we see all the time. Well, especially what I see. And the less you can actually speak to someone, the less you're practicing everything in terms of your social skills. If you are working on your speech, then it literally makes it impossible to make any type of progress. That's why things like we're doing now are very important. I have felt, since I've been at home for the last week, I have felt a bit of tension beginning to creep in. I feel like when I'm talking on the phone, it's not coming as natural. Old thoughts are beginning to creep in again. And that's just through lack of practice and lack of social interaction. Just being around people and being at work and being in and out of Tesco's, or knowing that you are going to go into a shop and order your lunch, or just simple things like that keeps you on your toes. Whereas now that isn't happening for us. So it's very difficult to keep up the mindset that we were trying to adopt for the last, well, I've been trying to adopt for the last 2 years.
Do you think things got a bit better after the other day when we recorded that video conversation? I think, was it Friday or Saturday? Do you think you felt a bit better after that? Because we probably spoke for about 45, 50 minutes. Pretty good.
Yeah, a little bit better, but I do need that. No. It definitely helps, but
yeah,
I need that constant speaking opportunities, and
I did ask you
home,
if you're
it's
free
just
Sunday
not
as well.
the same.
I did ask you if you're free Sunday, and I didn't get a response. So
I'm always free for you, Ruben, but I just want that everyday working environment, out environment. I just want to have constant opportunities to speak to as many people as I can. And when you're sitting at home in your room, it's very difficult, man.
I've got an interesting question, maybe. So, as in between the three of you, with your speech or maybe your level of stuttering, does it vary depending on whether you are at work or at home? And then now you're all working from home. Has something happened there? Then has it shifted more to, as in, like, do you now speak more as if you were at home? So when you speak to your colleagues, or the other way around, so when you speak to your family, do you speak in, as in, does your stuttering reach the level of when you speak to your colleagues? Yeah.
Well, for me, my speech in general is all the same now in most situations. It's either good or it's either not as good. It's bad once in a blue moon, like proper bad. But normally it's just good or it's not as good. So I'm stuttering here and there. But that's because my mentality now is just to speak as much as possible. And I don't really focus on trying not to stutter. That's harder to do than to say. No, it's harder to do it. It's harder to explain it than to do it. Yeah, it's harder to explain it than to do it.
Sorry, man, just a quick one. Is that ponytail you got on? I can't keep my eyes off it, man. Yeah.
It's fun now, see, magic.
Legend. No, because it was actually pointing at that poster on your door. Take action before you're ready. I thought it was all planned.
You can read that.
I don't know, man. It was literally pointing at it. Yeah.
Oh,
well, your ponytail's gone now, but.
Oh yeah, man. My speech in general is so right. Can't really complain anymore. It's either I speak or I'm gonna lose out. So I gotta speak anyway.
But do you still like return to old thoughts, or have you gone past that point?
Yeah, that's every day, mate.
Which ones? Yeah, as in old thoughts or past that point?
Old thoughts. That's every day, but I just observe them and I move past them.
Cool. Who do you want to ask next?
Sanjog.
I love Sanjog.
Yeah,
he seems to wait in queue.
He loves me. He loves me. So
take 5, Chris.
With my speech, it's interesting. Like I can be like absolutely fucking stuttering every word as fucked. If I get out of my head, you know, and I actually just focus on connection, I can speak all right. But like more often than not, I do stutter a lot, like fucking loads, right? And I think, I don't know, like in January, I was had place, my speech, and specifically how I felt about my speech, how I felt about who I was, you know. And I would always link my self-esteem to my speech, and that shit's stupid because my speech was always fucked. So I always had shit self-esteem, right? I've been working with an emotional acceptance coach, and even my speech hasn't improved hugely, how I feel about speaking and how I feel about myself as a human has improved massively. You know, I think half of it is just being happy to speak. Like, it doesn't matter if you stutter or not, as long as you're saying everything you want to say, and if you're like, do not try to not stutter. If you speak and your only goal is, oh, I don't want to stutter, you're going to stutter loads, and then you're going to spend ages in your head thinking, oh, I don't want to stutter on this word, I don't want to stutter on this word. But it's like, get out of your head and just express yourself. And I think that's the key to being free from stuttering. Not the physical stuttering blocks, maybe for some, but to be free of that constant struggle, avoidance, and just the constant feeling shit about yourself.
Yeah, I agree, because if that is your goal, then I personally think you are setting the bar pretty low, right? Because in the end, with speaking, it isn't a case of someone just going up to someone and talking at them and then trying to sound fluent and then leave. It's communication. In the end, it's an exchange of energy and vibration, etc. By just focusing on yourself, you are not actually communicating with someone, because you should be able to focus attention on them.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I discovered as well, especially with public speaking, because if you just focus on yourself and try to tiptoe around the way your speech comes out, it's easy for the people in the audience to actually see that, and then they will feel the distance there.
Yeah.
And it's really evident in public speaking when you don't have a connection with the speaker. And that's where I managed to work that out, and I guess transfer that to everyday conversations where possible. And even if I'm blocking and freezing on certain words, I still maintain that connection as best possible. In the same way I could see now when you were explaining that to us, I could see that you were there still sharing, and in the moment, even if to the kind of the layperson in the street, they would see it as disfluent, etc. If you had my attention like that, I could be able to see past the stutter and actually respond to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just a quick one. Hey, I just got a message saying this meeting will end in 10 minutes. We'll switch to unlimited.
Oh, you got to pay, innit?
Do you?
It's all good.
On the free on the free plan.
Yeah, it's all good. I've got like a time thing in the corner, so what I do, I'll pull the plug when you get under a minute. So let's give Chris a chance to tell us more. I saw Chris copy in the corner, stepped out for a cheeky paracetamol and fluids.
That's all good.
What do you think, Chris? So two environments.
Pick up on,
something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, to pick up on what was being said before, I feel like from my personal experience, I used to get frustrated with listeners, and I used to think that I couldn't capture their attention for long enough. And I used to think that everyone was rude because they didn't want to engage in the conversation with me for that long. But then what I realized is I did have that mindset that I just do not want to stutter right now in this conversation. And what I found was is that any interaction I had with them was like very brief. It was punchy. It was only one or two words just to get myself out of trouble. And I used to get annoyed and think that they're not interested in me as a person. But looking back, why would they be interested in me as a person? And if all I'm trying to do is get out of any shit that I might find myself in by just giving them one or two word answers. People, I find, even when my speech isn't great, they're a lot more appreciative of me actually being more interactive in the conversation, actually putting my thoughts across, my opinions across, actually responding properly, even though I might struggle to get the words out. I still find like they become a lot more interested in you as a person when you are allowing yourself to open up. You are showing them that, yeah, I do have a stutter, but I'm still willing to talk as fully as I can in this conversation. So yes, people might not be interested in a stutterer's personality, but as a stutterer, what personality are you giving off? That's what we have to ask ourselves, and that's what I've asked myself recently, and that's what I've tried to work on, regardless of whether I'm going through a bad patch of stuttering quite heavily or whether I'm going through quite good periods of speaking. Like Sandra was saying before, it's about just wanting to talk. It's not about not wanting to stutter.
That's powerful. Yeah, I can see how that would have helped you a lot, because one of the biggest piece of advice I received once was, look, just embrace it and it will make you more authentic. And when you have that authenticity, then you actually get the buy-in of people a lot quicker. It's easier to build trust, and people will actually believe in your message and follow you and come to you. So the faster you can actually realize it and get that feeling, then it will actually take your speech to the next levels. And I can testify that has happened to me. Yeah, sorry. I just want to say, got just over 5 minutes left. Free for all. Have you guys got any questions you want to ask each other or ask me? First one, go. Whoever wants to speak up.
I just want to add to what you're saying. It'll be 20 seconds.
Done. Yeah, good. Sure, good. Go. 20 seconds. Go.
There's a caveat to if you've got a stutter and you're trying to speak, and like if you want to come across authentic, at the same time, yeah, if you allow yourself to be yourself, blah blah blah, you become more authentic. But at the same time, if you stutter so badly, you can't express yourself. You have to do something about it. Like you, Ruben, you do your Toastmasters and you've gone through speech therapy. Therapy, yeah, which has helped you a lot. So you have to do something if you're struggling to get to a certain point. where you can be yourself. That's what I want to say.
So you need to take action and understand where you need to improve at some point, because things aren't just going to happen to you. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, you need to take some steps first, and then you can meet in the middle with the solution.
Yeah. I gotcha. But before we carry on, do you guys want to kind of extend this conversation? Because we can always take a break at this point and then jump onto someone else's Zoom for part 2. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I think this is going places. No.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I don't know, rush it. All right.
Revolutionary.
Yeah. We can call it halftime now then. My stomach's rumbling a bit as well, so I might get something to eat. Shall we say 10 minutes?
All right.
Cool, man.
Yeah, wait.
Cool.
Before I go, who's Zoom?
Use mine.
I'll be the best person.
Yeah, Mr. Unlimited. All right.
All right.
Zoom, yeah. Come on, pick it up, man. Why am I timing out now, Zoom?
Therapy. That's it. Got it now.
Therapy.
Therapy.
Attaboy.
It's easy now, isn't it? Therapy.
Yeah, that's stuttering for you. Fuck stuttering.
It's because you're trying to like slang it. That's why.
Nah, I just got a stutter, bro.
Yeah. What does? Oh, I didn't realize. Sorry, man. Shall I pull the violin out for you? Huh?
Yeah, please, man.
All right, dudes. All right, I'm gonna kill it now.
All right, bye.
Catch you in 10.
All right, guys. In a bit.